Welcome to the Queen's Lair, a lifestyle podcast. Get inspired by our latest tips and information about small business, entrepreneurship, natural hair, travel, food, and even relationships. Stay tuned for another great episode. I am your host, Renee Patrice. Welcome back, everyone. Thank you so much for tuning into my podcast once again. It's been a while. It has been a while. I knew that I was going to take some time off. I know that the last time that I was on, or a couple of episodes ago, I talked about realigning and, mentally, spiritually, even physically. It has been a long road. I did a huge drive all the way from Georgia to the north. I'm definitely going to be in the tri-state area, the New York, New Jersey, Connecticut area. And that'll be my next area of where I will be working and probably going to continue. I am done with the South for many reasons, but love Georgia, love being in Atlanta. It has a lot to offer. I think that, even with the colleges and everything in the area, I think it's absolutely wonderful. But I also know that there's a lot of work to do in Georgia. You guys know I have a political background as well, so I just think it's just too much. There has been so much happening since the pandemic began, and we are still in a pandemic, people. Don't get it twisted. There's a mask mandate in the north, especially in the New York and New Jersey areas. And understandably so, there's this chest pneumonia, congestion thing going around, and all of us got knocked down over the holidays, including my sister, who actually lives in the city of Chicago and, comes down to my mom's house and everything, when we're visiting and stuff and having family time. And I will tell you, we all got sick. We got knocked down one by one. It was really crazy. And it took us a while to recover. And I can honestly say, up until about 2 weeks ago, we're halfway through February. And up until 2 weeks ago, I was still not good. And this is from right after the holidays, going into the new year. Like, it took 3 solid weeks and change for me to just even get it together, as far as like being sick and all that stuff. I mean, it was just insane. It wasn't COVID or anything like that. You guys know I had my bout with COVID last year, and it was pretty much like a really, really bad cold for a couple of days, and then, I was pretty much okay, and then I think by the 5th day or so, I tested negative, so it was crazy after all that time, but I figured eventually it gets around to everybody, but that was a whole other thing. But, anyway, there's just been so many things going on. So I know that my folks who tune in and listen, I thank you so much for supporting the podcast and allowing me to just share my ups and downs, when it comes to business and even life. I'm pretty open on here, and, I want to make sure that I'm giving you guys the real deal, and you can see the changes and things that I'm making to stuff and all of that. So yes, it has been crazy. I did the drive by myself from Georgia to New York because I was going to be in New York and everything at my mom's. And I'm telling you, the drive was beautiful. Especially because you're driving the route that I took wasn't even all 95. I don't remember the route number. I will have to go look it up, but I basically drove a full length of Virginia, okay? And it was beautiful. I actually passed so much farmland, and, that can go a lot of directions, when you are driving through the South. Wow. It was just incredible. Virginia especially, because we know Georgia has a huge history. I mean, we are in Black History Month. Georgia, of course, the South has a huge history for enslavement. And I don't know, man, driving through Virginia was incredible because you saw people's land. They had old slave quarters on their land, and I would think that probably their land is probably a landmark at some point, and some of the homes and things that are there, and they look like they're literally stuck in time. It was scary and it was interesting and impressive all at the same time, because it's like, look at this land, but then sad, because the history of what likely went on, and wow, I was really floored, because a lot of the slave quarters will be they'll be like 2 by 2, and you can see, how they separated them from the big house, and one even had a well in the middle of 2 wooden structures, and it looked like they tried to shore it up, because it's, I would think, landmark quality. But yeah, I'm thinking about it now, and it was really, really interesting to see that on the drive. I hadn't seen anything like that in a long time. There's some aspects of that in the Maryland area, and if anybody is from the DMV, people know I lived in the DMV area for 15 years, and the Civil War Trail, definitely goes up and through Maryland, and where I lived in Rockville, behind there, which leads down to Rock Creek Park. And Rock Creek Park stretches a long way. People think it's just in DC, but it stretches all the way up into Maryland, and along River Road and the Potomac River. All of those, you go along those areas, they all have markers that you can pull your car over and read the historical markers, and you'll get some fact or something that happened during the Civil War time, and the end of the days of slavery. And it's so interesting how there's so much history around us, and there's so much history. There's just a bunch of history around us that I don't think we pay a lot of attention to. I think that we just see the world as what it is today, and they really don't think, well, go back 100 years and what would have been happening in this spot right now? Would this building even be here? It probably would not have been, when I think about, my parents' house was built in 1955. So you got to think, before that, what was here? It was just trees and, just open space. So it's pretty interesting. But that drive was so serene, and it taught me so much. And I actually thought I was going to do the drive in a day, because it's about 13 hours, something like that. And, I said, no, I want to stop along the way. I want to take things in. And I actually stopped twice. I had a whole bunch of points and everything with Marriott. Thank God for Marriott. I'm an ambassador, elite with Marriott, so I always have points lingering somewhere. And I was like, thank God I had these points, because I didn't spend a dime on any hotel along the way. So I stopped the first time, and I thought I was still in North Carolina. They said, oh no, you're in Virginia. And I stopped in Danville, Virginia. And that Marriott was wonderful. They were great staff, great restaurant that they had in there. Their bistro restaurant in there was really great. Great time, really great time. Very knowledgeable and telling you what's in the area and all of that. But that began the drive through Virginia that just, it amazed me, because just seeing all of those things along the way, and old buildings and old sheds, wooden sheds, and I'm like, wow, when you think, just everything that has gone on with us as a people. And I say us as a people, I know I have every walk of life that listens to this, but I know I do have a large Black population who listens. The African diaspora population on my podcast is strong. So for my folks in Brazil, my folks, abroad outside of the United States and everything, you guys are all included. And it is just amazing how much history we skip over, how much history we want to sweep under the rug. And it makes it that much more important to why we have to teach these things in school, because there is no amount of history lesson that you will have in school, the way things are right now, to be able to teach you all the things that I learned just driving for 13, 14 hours from the south to the north. Those are the things that need to be taught. I would have loved, if I knew I was going to run into all that stuff, I would have stopped, along the way. And I was really trying to beat a storm that was coming from the south moving north. So I was like, okay, I don't want to, sit still too long, but had I known I was going to see all of that, I would have been more prepared, even to pull over. I just wasn't in a good clip of time, to be able to pull over. And then you don't want to just walk on people's land, and, you don't want to start trouble and all that. But it was incredible. It was incredible. And you can just imagine all of the people that worked this land and toiled, the soil in this country and beyond, not just in this country. I mean, you guys know my background is Caribbean. Both my parents are from Jamaica. That is a whole other history of Black people and slavery and everything tied to those things. That's even a whole other thing. But it's really, really interesting. So I encourage people, if you're driving from the south and going north, and I'm going to try to see if I can, while I'm talking to you guys now, I'm going to see if I can find the route number, because it was nothing like I had ever seen before. It was very interesting. I'm going to look it up right now. This is the joys of social media and being in the moment and all those things. Let me see here. Yeah, the whole drive was about 14 hours, about a little over 800 something miles. But I tell you, that run through Virginia really struck me. And I need to find what route number that is, because it was really crazy. I want to say it was Route 360. I think if you guys look into Route 360, you will see a lot of what I saw. Because then it took me right into downtown Richmond, which I was very familiar with. Like you're driving up through and you see all the signs for Henrico County, Glen Allen, Short Pump, Ashland, all that stuff. And then you start going on 95, and it takes you through Ladysmith, Fredericksburg, Falmouth, and, anybody from DMV starts to know those areas. Stratford, Dumfries, Woodbridge, all of that. Excuse me. Got a frog in my throat for a minute. When you start going up into like Lorton, Virginia, Alexandria, all that. And I drove through all of that straight through, and then stopped in Baltimore, and I stopped at an Aloft Hotel in Baltimore, and the Marriott brand is strong, and that was very, very nice. It was beautiful. It was right outside BWI Airport. You can see the planes taking off. It was just incredible, and it was another side of the Baltimore metro area, not really in the city of Baltimore, but like Hanover, I think was the area. And I lived in Maryland for many years. I lived in the DMV for 15 years, so it was interesting to be back. But I really don't get out to that area too often. I was more, closer to actual DC, the district. So I don't know, it was very surreal to kind of be back, because I hadn't driven through there in 10 years, and I realized a lot of people were asking me, oh my goodness, how long were you in Atlanta? I was in Atlanta for 10 years. 10 years, people. Oh my gosh, I can't even believe it's been that long. But I just wanted to check in with you guys and kind of share that with you. I enjoyed my holiday. I enjoyed seeing all of my family, and I'm going to be working in the tri-state area. So, like I said, I told you guys a couple episodes back that I truly am a digital nomad. I go where I need to go to work. And, I will be stationed in the north. So anybody who is in need of brand management, any of that stuff, and of course I work remotely because I have clients all over the place, so you don't have to be in the north. But what I hope to do is I hope to start bringing back my events that I was doing. It's a little bit tougher to do because the COVID mandates up north are more strict than they are in the South. I mean, I don't even know if we were ever wearing masks in Georgia. I mean, I was wearing my mask, but, the whole mask thing in Georgia was just like a joke. But here in New York, I mean, they handed out tickets and they're cracking down. So it's definitely a different situation. So if you're in the New York and New Jersey, Connecticut area, even Pennsylvania, and I'm not against Maryland and Delaware and all of that, and the DMV area either, because I figure I'll have a lot of appointments and things from people in those areas. But I would love to do events again, like how I canceled the last of my events in Georgia because it was just, people kept popping up with COVID and this, that, and the other. And I said, you know what? This is my cue to wrap it up and get out of here. So I said, you know what? I've had enough. I've done my due diligence. It was great. I enjoyed my time. I really did. I saw a lot. I learned a lot. And I also I knew that wasn't going to be my forever place, but I wanted to make sure that I followed the dream there, because I definitely grew my company tremendously. I want to thank Gwinnett Magazine. If people are familiar with the county, Gwinnett is probably one of the more popular counties in Georgia. Gwinnett Magazine, again, second year in a row. I was a part of the Best of Gwinnett and a one to watch for the Best of Gwinnett 2022. So I thank them dearly for that. And now that I am officially, I've officially moved from the south to the north, it's really, it made me feel good that was the way I closed out that stint there. So that was really cool. And so again, if you ever get the chance to drive that long distance, even if you're not the driver and somebody else is the driver, that drive is incredible. Seeing the history, through Virginia. And I know Virginia is not the only place that has this type of history, but it was the first time that I drove through that area and not taking the normal 95 route. And it was incredible. I definitely learned a lot. I tried to snap a few pictures along the way. I don't suggest that if you're driving, especially if you're driving by yourself, but I tried to get a couple of things here and there. But yeah, it was incredible, and it made me feel very fortunate that so many of our forefathers that came before us, all of what they sacrificed, because passing some of this farmland, the farmland went on forever. I mean, the grass just kept going. The corn, whatever, cotton, whatever it is that they're growing on their land went on. You couldn't see to the end of it. And I'm thinking to myself, wow, our people tilled this land. We built this country. Speaking to my African diaspora folks right now, we helped to build this. We built this country. We built the White House. People, you need to get out there and Google. What do I always say? Google is your friend. Get out there and Google and really see how much Black people have contributed to this world. And I'm not even going to just say this country, to this world. You turn around, every single thing that you can think of that you use in your everyday life, to the traffic light, to the air conditioner, just all these different things of which we have contributed to and not always got proper credit for. You know what I mean? So I'm checking in for this Black History Month because I really wanted to share just some of my, catch you guys up, but also my heart, where my heart is with a lot of things. I know there's other things that I would like to address. People have asked me what I thought. I'm not going to mention names of the latest unfortunate tragedies that have happened. We all know the people's names. I'm not going to mention them here. I'm going to save that for another episode. But I want people, our African diaspora, massive, to really understand your roots, understand where you come from, understand whatever your background is. Dig into it and understand truly where you come from and appreciate it. You've got the elders in your family, talk to them. You have a camera. Everybody has an iPhone, an Android, whatever. You're up TikToking all day. Videotape your grandmother, your great-grandmother, your mom, your dad. Ask them questions about your past and your history, especially if they're from other countries. Find out so you can pass that along. That's what makes generations much stronger, when you know where you come from. It's important to know where you're going, but it's more important to know where you come from. That's your history. That's your story. That's a part of what made you you. So even though my parents are from Jamaica and they have a different background and have a different, story as far as the connections to the U.S., we're still one people. Even in Jamaica, the motto is out of many, one people. That's Jamaica's motto, and then we have this connection all over the world. So it was very sobering to do that drive, and being that I drove the whole way by myself. I didn't have any distractions at all, and sometimes I went through stretches, a couple hours or so, or 3 hours with no music or anything, just to take in the scene and understand how much we have contributed to this world. And it really hit home for me. That drive was something I needed. It was like a very cleansing thing. You know, when I got to my destination, I was like, I felt completely cleansed. I don't know how else to explain it. But anyway, I've been talking for a while, but I wanted to catch up. You know how we do on here. You know, I just speak from the heart and I just speak from the mind. And so I will keep you guys posted on the next things to come for Onyx Queen Media. But as always, you can contact me, connect with me on Instagram at Onyx Queen Media. Talk to you soon. Bye. Online savings simplified. Don't search for coupon codes ever again. With one click, Honey's smart shopping assistant will automatically apply discounts to your cart in seconds. Save on all your favorite things. Easily pay less for products you're already buying online. It's as easy as 1, 2, 3. Join Honey for free. It takes 2 clicks to add Honey to your Chrome, Safari, Firefox, or Opera browser. Find savings in seconds. While you shop, Honey will find working promo codes across the entire internet, and you save instantly. With one click, Honey will apply the best deals to your cart. It's that easy. So what are you waiting for? Get Honey. Download it today. Visit our link, www.tinyurl.com/ONYXHONEY. That's www.tinyurl.com/Onyx Honey. Start saving right now.